gonna give the stage to you.
Yes.
Hey guys, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity and giving us the opportunity to present Scappman to you. We'll start by introducing ourselves.
Yes. Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending our session this late in the evening. So I'm Maarten Vollat, and I'm the co-founder of Scappman, together with Wout. I've been a typical Microsoft engineer for almost 15 years now, and I work most of my time for MSPs. I used to be very server-oriented, but these days I'm more a Microsoft Modern Workplace consultant. I strongly believe in a cloud-native world, but I feel there are still some technical issues to get there. So it's my goal and Scappman's goal to assist our customers to migrate to these cloud-native environments. If I'm not working, then you can find me on my bike or playing soccer with my friends. You can also find my contact details on the slide, so feel free to contact me or ask me anything after or during this session. Let's keep this session interactive, so if you get a question, just unmute yourself or put the question in the chat, and we'll bring the question up in the demo or in the session. All right, enjoy the demo. What?
And I'm Wout. I actually have a Citrix background, and I've started moving to Microsoft like 5 years ago. So I've always been quite workplace oriented, and in there you can also find some of my contact details if you want to reach out or have a chat, have a beer, whatever. So the idea for Scappman actually so first what we want to talk about is what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about what Scappman is. We'll give you a demo. The intro itself will be quite short. We'll show you our roadmap, and then I'm really looking forward to all of your questions. So the idea for Scappman started about 18 months ago. We were working on Intune projects, and we realized that we spent a lot of our time doing repetitive stuff. So we figured, let's see what we can automate. We started by looking into what consumes a lot of time, what's complicated, and what we can make easier, and how we would be able to provide as much added value as possible for people that would want to use our product. We focused on 3 main pillars there. That's automating the management of the applications, overcoming some of the limitations that Intune imposes, simplifying it very much, stuff that takes 5 seconds in the old world, but now takes 20 times as long. We would try and, it's our goal to try and solve that. And also to provide managed service providers with a solution that allows them to save enormous amount of time in managing all of their customers at the same time. And at the core of that, obviously, we're very Microsoft focused, very cloud, as Maarten already mentioned, and automation would also be a key part of the solution that we would like to build or that we have built. So 12 months ago, I'm going too fast. So 12 months ago, we founded Scappman and we started working on those ideas. And then last September, we even got selected by Startup KBC as a promising startup. So we're backed by a pretty powerful network of entrepreneurs. And fast forward that to today, and what we have now is a 100% cloud solution that enables you to manage the applications on your devices through Intune, provide you with better insights, a real easy interface that even a regular user would be able to use, and help you overcome with some of Intune's quirks. And there's lots more on the roadmap, but first, let's do a demo. So this is always the most exciting part of the demo, because it's, if I didn't clean it properly after myself, this might fail. So basically here we have our portal. That's where it starts. We've tried to make this process also very simple. So you can just register, and then it'll ask you for your Azure AD account. Well, so this is a global admin in a demo tenant that we have. It'll ask you to read some profile details to be able to authenticate the actual user. Then some terms and conditions, which we all obviously read very carefully all the time. And then we obviously need some permissions in your Intune tenant in order to push those applications to your tenants. So
yeah, so we have like an app registration in your tenant, and that's why we need, of course, these permissions.
Exactly. So we need some write permissions for those applications and for groups. We'll explain that in a second. And then I'm just going to fill out some details on my very noisy keyboard. And then registered. And here, this is an empty portal, obviously, because we haven't installed any applications yet. But the important part where the magic lies is in the App Store. So we have an App Store where you can select any of these applications and install them. The first part we've made very simple. So you just select the application. You just select which language you want. You can choose what language you want. And then you can assign it to either all devices or specific users, which are the users in the demo tenant, or an existing group that you already have. So this is very simple. This is something that even a user would be able to use. But obviously, all of you guys are interested in this button, the advanced button. So we have some. Oh, I'm going to take a different application because I made one especially for you guys. Oh no, I didn't do it on this tenant. So I'll go back to the 7-zip. And there in the advanced stuff, you can select more advanced stuff like the bitness that you want. And you can also edit the install commands. So for example, if you wanted to add a parameter here, you could do so, and we will push that installation with that additional parameter to your tenant. And as you can see here, there's also a reset button for when you want to reset it so that you don't break it, or if you break it, that you can easily fix it. And the second important thing is update rings. So here, what we'll do here is if there is a new version available of that application, we will wait 2 or 4 days, or even longer, up to 30 days, to push that application to your Intune tenant. So basically, when you decide to install the 7-zip, we will install the latest version that is available, and we will create 3 applications in your Intune tenant. And those applications will be assigned to separate groups, and we will update those applications with a certain amount of delay. I'll show that in a minute as well. And then you can choose assignment type. That's something new. And here for this specific application, you can only choose required or none. So basically, if you choose none, we will not assign the application to any users. And if it's required, then it will be required, and the installation will be forced on all of those devices or users. And here, then you can select the groups that you would like to use for these applications. And there is one more thing that I would like to demo, and that is, I just need to different tenant, voila. So here I created an application for you guys. What we've added recently is that you can select an available application. So what that means is that the application will then obviously be available in the Intune company portal where a user can install it. But the challenge with available applications is always keeping them up to date. Because if you release a new version of an available application, that new version will also be just that, available, and it won't be the installation of that new application won't be forced. So that's why we've created available applications, and what that will do is it will install one application that is available for the users and a different application that is required that can force the update if it's necessary. I'll show that in a second as well. So I'll just finish this setup. I've chosen English 64 bits. I'm not going to edit any commands, I'm going to update things to make my life easier, and I'll install it for some specific user.
We've added these advanced features, but we also want to make sure that in the basic configuration that anyone can do it, that it's really user friendly. And so if you get some smaller businesses that they can manage it themselves, but of course, if you are working for an enterprise, then you will need to have these advanced features.
So what happens now is, as you can see, I have a few more applications. The application is created. You can see that it's grayed out currently because it's being deployed. It'll take a few minutes before it's deployed, but I took the liberty of already deploying a 7-zip before this meeting. To refresh it. Voila. So this 7-zip has update rings enabled. So as you can see, we are actually pushing 3 applications. And they're right now all running the same version because there is no update available, but the assignments for those applications are different. So you'll see here that we have a group for the fast application and that we have a group for the slow application, and so on and so forth. And obviously we exclude the fast from the slow. There is also some auditing, so every action that happens is being audited. And then we also have created a dashboard. So here you get an overview of just an overview across all of your tenants or across all of that entire tenant, where you can see how many applications are installed, how many of those installations have failed, and how many are pending. I don't have any pending, I think, and how many have been postponed by the user. And there is also a reporting part where you can see all of those applications and you can sort. So I don't think we had any failed ones, no. But for example, you could check out Wireshark and you can see on which computer that Wireshark has been installed, what the exit code was, when the device connected for the last time. So a bit of the overview that you have in Intune as well. But what we're going to add very soon here is a button to download the logs. So right now you have a feature in Intune where you can already collect those logs, but you have to provide the path yourself. But because we are consolidating all of our logs in the same folder, and as soon as we see that an installation has actually failed, we're going to start the collection of those logs already. So that when you come to our portal and you see, hey, this installation has failed, that you can just download those logs straight away and you don't need to wait until the device checks it. Let's see where the installation is at. It's still being created. It's almost there already. So here in the update, you'll see that it's required, this application, even though we selected available, but it has a requirement script. So basically what we're doing is we're checking if the application is installed on the device. And if we see that it's not actually installed, then we just skip the installation of the application. But if we do see that it's installed, then we're going to update it if it needs to be updated. So that's how we fixed the available application update issue. There is also, that's a very important thing. So right now we have these 71 applications, but there's also an option to request a new application where you can just, if it's a public app, we'll just create it for you and we'll upload it in our portal. so that if you have an app that is missing, you can just let us know, and we'll be more than gladly upload that application there. I'm forgetting something, Martin, but I forget what.
The multi-tenancy, maybe?
Yes,
or,
you're right. It's always the same story. So, like we said, we try to focus on managed service providers as well. So one of the features we've added, I need to log on to my managed service provider for that, is, so this is an example, a demo of a managed service provider, and here the managed service provider has connected to a customer, and the managed service provider can just manage all of the applications as if it's a customer. So you can see everything in the same way as the customer, and he can create installations for that user. The other thing I'm forgetting is what we do when we push those applications is we have a entire infrastructure behind it. So we post our API, and then we have some runbooks running behind it, and we wrap the installation. So all of these files, we wrap those into an Intune Win. But we first wrap it into a PSABT. So that means that if we have an application and we try to install an application and we notice I've recorded something before, we'll have to give you some idea, and we notice that the application is running, we'll actually give a pop-up to the user so that they have a chance to postpone or close the application if it's not a good time for them to update that application. So if they close, it will update straight away. And if they postpone, they can postpone up to 2 times. So the third time they will be forced to install the application. And we also skip this while there is a PowerPoint running. So say there is a PowerPoint running, then we don't show the pop-up. There's a timeout of, as you can see, of 4 hours. We do that to also be able to update, for example, if you have like TVs and stuff that are presenting everywhere, that we can still push updates to those TVs. So this is what we've created so far. We also have a very lengthy roadmap, which I'll be more than happy.
We got a question from Kyle. He's asking if you can white label that logo in the pop-up. Well, so for the moment, we still can't do that. But we're thinking of doing that to allow customers to change that, but it's not in production yet.
If it's a requirement, let us know and we'll fix it. It's quite easy actually to enable you to white label this because we are recreating it on every deployment anyways. So if that's a requirement for you to start using it, let us know and we'll be more than happy to enable that. Right now, we've been focusing on creating functionality in the portal itself, and these small things are I understand that it might not be a small thing, but technically this is not very complicated to implement. So if it's a requirement, just let us know, and we will be more than happy to look into that. So just to give you an idea of our roadmap, so as you can see, the automatically collect the log files for the failed installs. That's quite high on there. Available assignments, that's actually released, but we still have to enable all of the applications for it. So that's why it's still on there. And then we are changing the installation overview. So the overview that you have here of these installations, you can't do a lot with it. You can here edit it, pause the updates, redeploy the application, which means that you're going to delete it and recreate it or delete it altogether. But we're going to make this clickable so that you get a good overview about that application and that you can, for example, if you don't want automatic updates of those applications, that you can pause the updates and then have a button where you can update those applications manually yourself whenever you want to, so that we don't force those updates. Voila, so that's the update now option. The other thing we're working on is we're going to scan. So every time you create an installation, we are actually downloading the sources from our own private repository and wrapping them. We are going to scan them each time that we download those sources. We are going to scan them and include a report in the package so that we can see that it was actually clear. And obviously, when it wasn't clear, we wouldn't create the package. The other thing we're working on is exclude assignments. So right now we only support include assignments in the UI. That is, we actually already support it in the backend. But here in the assignments, you can, for example, select multiple groups, whatever. But there is no way to exclude users. We're working on that as well. And then the other big thing that I think will make a big difference is we want to enable everyone to just upload their own applications. Right now, if you want to upload your own application, you still have to go through us. But what we would like to do is enable everyone to just upload their own sources, their own code into our platform, and we would package an application for you and upload it to your tenant. Just to clarify, this would only be for your personal applications, and you would be the only person or the only customer that is, or the only tenant that is able to view these applications. We wouldn't make them available for everyone else.
Yeah, and the packaging is automatically, so there's no additional fee attached to that.
Yeah. And then we're going to do some more notifications about updating. We're going to create some additional views. And then for the managed service providers, we're actually going to work on application sets. So right now, if you want to install, if you onboard a new customer, you have to reinstall all of those applications for that new customer. What we're going to do is we're going to allow you to create a set of applications, and instead of adding and just enable you to add users to that set of to add customers to that set of applications, so that it makes your life easier again. And if you have a set of applications that you use across all of your customers anyways, you may as well push it straight away to all of them as soon as you onboard them, so that it takes like 10 seconds to onboard a new customer. And then the ideas. We have a lot of ideas. And that's why we really look at, we like very much input from our customers for those ideas.
And the community, of course, very important.
Like the stuff we talked about before, about stuff that took 5 seconds before, like drive mappings and registry keys. Those things we would like to really make a lot simpler via our platform as well. And obviously, there is still a lot more that can be posted on here. So if you have ideas, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to look into it, see where we can make a difference, and try and solve some of the pains that you are having with your Intune.
Indeed. So now we are mainly focused on the application packaging and updating. But in the future, we can also implement other features once we get a good coverage of all the settings we need to do with the applications. So we might also implement something to onboard users or stuff, but it really depends on the feedback of our customers and their input. So if you want to be a customer or not, or you have some ideas, please just put them in the chat or speak them out loud, and we can discuss about them.
Okay, then we get to the ask us anything part. I made it ask us anything part because there's actually 2 of us. So I'm not sure if there are a lot of questions. And feel free to unmute yourself.
Now there is silence.
Yeah, very silent. I'm used to this meeting taking, when it's a one-on-one, taking 2 hours, to be honest. Several times
Because you were
already.
talking to me, Wout, so
yeah, that might be.
I think it's going to be important that you're going to expand the list of applications fast. for your
We're working-
customers.
Yeah, we're working very hard on that. But I think we have the basics we have already, and that's especially why offering it for free, so that if you need an application, just request it, and we'll give it priority. So we have a backlog of about 400 or 500 applications, but the priority, but the priority will be decided by the customers.
Okay.
So
The more customers that request an application, the higher it comes on the priority list.
well,
Yes.
not just that. If you request it, then we'll create it.
All right.
So it's not about higher on the priority list. It's about if you request it, we will create. But unless you start requesting 100 applications, then it might be a different story. But no, that's something that we do now because we know that's one of our pain points. But I think Tim and I we spoke a few weeks ago or a month ago when we were at 55 or something. So we're expanding quite rapidly on those applications. And we know that that's a pain point, and we're very much focusing on that. But at the same time, trying to add functionality as well that people have a use for.
I think
And
it's
how
great to see what progress you've already made with the platform, because it
Yeah.
looks really promising. It's really
Yeah.
and how do people be able to do those requests? Is there a kind of form, or
There's
just
there's
they
just a
need,
button.
just need the contact? Okay, yeah,
There's
yeah.
just a
I'm not using it. I'm not an
Yeah,
email.
I get it. I get it. No, but
I'm
there's
the
just-
Astor boy, so I'm just in the cloud somewhere. But that's
No,
why I asked.
button is also in the cloud.
Maybe a stupid question, but
No, there's just we specifically we used to have to say just drop us an email, but we specifically added the button to make the the Dutch word is laagdrempeliger, to request those applications to make it very easy for people to request it, and we're also specifically doing it for free if it's a public application. So that's the number of applications should really not be an issue why you shouldn't use it.
but I think the most ones, if I look at the list from here, are already in there. I think.
I think so. If you know of an important one, let me know. I think the most important ones are in there.
Yeah. You can also find the list on the website. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Not up to date again. I think too many.
yeah. I updated it 2 days ago. So.
You're on mute, Karel.
Is the WatchGuard SSL VPN client in there?
No, it's not. Do you
And
want?
It's a tricky one.
Those Azure toolings like Azure Storage Explorer and stuff like that. Is that in there?
No, but it's going to be one of the next things
Okay.
because I want it for
I can't-
myself.
I can't request yet, so I asked.
It's okay, but you can browse there and you can register, and you can do it without app registration if you just want to have a look around.
So the GitHub desktop is there. The Docker application, is that in there?
Nope.
Docker.
But if it's
Come on.
if it's serious requests, yeah. If it's serious requests, I'll be more than happy to add it. Seriously, we're actually, because you're talking about VPN clients, we're actually just starting on the VPN clients right now. But I ran into Cisco, the sources not being publicly available, so that's a challenge already. But the create your own application thing comes in play, that we can maybe provide the commands that you have to use and that you can create the package yourself.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But then I can't obviously guarantee the updates.
And at the moment, most customers are Belgian located,
Yes.
or
Yes.
also
Yes.
in Europe and US
No.
maybe, or
Belgium.
Belgium, all in Belgium. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's we were talking about US data stored in Europe before, and I actually realized, that we might have to run a second cluster somewhere.
That's a tricky part. Eh?
Yeah, but everything is hosted in West Europe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, now we're focusing on the Belgian market, but we're going to expand quite fast, let's hope,
Okay.
once we get some traction.
Yeah, we just want to start here because it's important for us to really talk, to be able to be close to our customers, and we really want to learn from them and find out what is missing, and then we'll do other markets.
Yeah, probably to have a good base and then expand from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the best MVPs, so.
Suck up.
I don't know those guys.
Most what?
I think it's great what you're doing, guys. It's really nice.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time, but
It's
we're getting there.
It looks quite user friendly, I think.
yeah, but that's really and that's really a focus thing that we want to do because it's not only managed service providers. I want to be very clear about that, but I really think that this is very powerful for managed service providers because you can basically give it to your customer and he can manage it himself. You don't even have to have him create a ticket. If you the IT guy at the customer can basically install those applications himself from now on.
Yeah, from the thing I'm seeing, it really looks so.
Yeah, this view we're going to change as well. That it's a list view because it gets it's going to get much when you look at it, and the search works quite nice. But yeah, people like me, I prefer a list view.
As long as it's not the big thumbnail view, it's a smaller one.
Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah, no, it's not that bad.
I mostly also list my in Windows Explorer and stuff like that. I'm always using the list view, so
yeah. That's easier to sort it. That's the thing. So here you can see for those rings which version they have and stuff. They're actually all quite up to date, I think.
Yeah, it's really an advantage that the customers do not need to package themselves anymore, and they not need to worry about that they're not up to date and stuff. So
it will spare them quite some time and not always looking for the new updates from But these days some software packages, they change they update every week, I think. So
every week, that's on a good day. That's on a good week.
Yeah.
With a Google
some
Chrome.
applications are 3 times a week. If you need to update, so
it happens quite often that I finish the package for Chrome, I release it,
and then already new ones. Yeah, probably with all those browsers in there, it's I think the Edge is 2 times, 3 times, 4 times a week, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
It's very often. Yeah.
But for Edge, I'm actually doubting of removing it because.
Why is that?
Because it's available in the OS itself.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that there is added value in having it in here. If you have an opinion, I would love to know.
At my side, it updates itself. So
voilà. So it's in the OS, so I'm not convinced that there is added value to still keep it.
No, because it's going to completely overtake the Internet Explorer default. With the new version. Of course, there are still people that are sitting on the older versions, so there it might still have value, but then again, it's also built into Intune as well, so it's very easy to deploy it there, and the application itself it's auto updating. So
yeah, but the thing is, what's important is for us, it's really the goal that you can manage those versions. So, for example, it's not on the roadmap. But one of the ideas that we have is that you can select a specific version so that if you have a customer that needs to be running on version 1.0, whatever, that you can actually force that version and don't force those updates. We're already tracking every application, every version that we add right now. We're already keeping all of that history so that we can go back to when
specific
we started.
Version.
Because if they release something and there's a bug in there and you already change, you need to be able to go quickly back.
Exactly. So those are all things that we have to think about.
So if I need a specific software package, I just need to ping you.
You ping me,